ask me that, like, what did you do every week? And I never remember. And I don't know if I'm just getting old and I'm losing my mind, but I never forget I never remember what I did on the weekend. But it's probably also because I don't see it as the weekend, it's just another day. Okay. I don't know, Alice. I'm going crazy. Who knows? What up, YouTube? This is me talking about the science behind editing. I've edited and delivered, my team has edited and delivered thousands upon thousands upon thousands of content for our clients, whether that's foundational content like brand overviews, case studies, testimonials, paid ad and commercials, the social side of things, whatever it may be. I just kind of want to break down some of the science that I personally have used over the years to look at a client and really break down what is the absolute best way to put this content together and to deliver it, and also what it takes to be a really good editor. I don't think editing's for everybody. I think anybody can learn the technicalities of being an editor in terms of like dragging footage onto a timeline and arranging it and throwing some music behind it and saying, okay, here's the edit and all that. But if you're really trying to affect brand and affect audience and things like that, I do think if you're an editor at a high level, there are certain elements that you need to have in order to be really, really good. The first thing I kind of want to jump into and talk about is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence for me, I've always been somebody, I remember when I was a kid or just growing up, I was always a fly on the wall just watching, what drives people, what makes them move, what makes them tick. Why does this person like this? Why does this person like that? And when you're editing different projects, for us at least, we work in different industries, different types of people, all across the board, all across the globe. And in doing different types of projects and editing for different types of brands, you definitely cannot have a one-track mind when it comes to editing. If you have a vanilla box method or methodology for editing projects and putting them together and delivering them, your content's probably gonna be boring, probably all gonna be the same, and it's gonna get played out after a while. Versus understanding the emotional intelligence of the brand itself. What's the vibe of this brand? What's the target demographic that they're going after? That's gonna affect music, that's gonna affect, shot styles, that's gonna affect pacing, effects you use or don't use. If I'm editing for a target demographic of say 45 to 55 versus 20 to 27-year-olds, you're talking about having a different level of understanding of these demographics of people. You can't edit the exact same way for those people. I spend a lot of time on YouTube every day. I spend a lot of time on Instagram every day. It's digesting what content is out there, but it's also sitting back, listening and watching and seeing what people like, what the vibe is, what the style is, what the energy levels are. It's helped me deliver content to the highest of my ability that's gonna affect the audience in the most positive way. Number two, and this is a close two, but time management. I know I've worked with a lot of editors over the years, and a lot of editors hit a wall when it comes to projects. And a lot of the times when I sit down with them and talk to them and really start peeling back the layers of like, what are these walls you're hitting? Why can't you get through this project, or what's holding you up for this project? Or a lot of it has to do with organization and time management. Whether it's your filing system or whether it's you understanding your day before you start jumping into it, not just jumping into edits and saying, oh, I'm gonna work as much as I can, get on this one, on this edit, and then I'm gonna get to this one, versus being like, okay, from 9 to 12, I'm gonna work on this piece. From 12 to 1, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take a break, walk around the block, go play in the park, whatever you gotta do. And then from here, I'm gonna work on these other edits. If you're not doing that, what you're doing is running blind, because a day will get away from you fast if you're not stepping back and looking at what you have to get done, how you have to get it done, and what you have to do to prep a file, put it on a timeline, and get it delivered. Time management is an extremely important piece of how we edit here at INDIRAP. We meet once a week. I talk to my team all the time about, what's the workload? How busy are you? Are you losing your mind right now? What do we need to say no? And saying no is an extremely powerful word when it comes to realizing what you can and can't take on. There is a point to where it's like, as an editor, you have to have a very clear and free mind in order to effectively deliver really good content. And I've been there. I've had 15, 25 edits over my head, and I'm fucking stressed out and I'm losing my damn mind. There comes a point where you have to say, you know what, these projects are gonna have to wait, and either they have to wait or someone else is gonna have to take this on, because A, I'm losing my mind, and B, in losing my mind, I'm not gonna be able to deliver the hottest shit possible because I'm just not all there. Truth is that if you have hot content, and that you can take your time and really build into what you want to build it to, which is really good stuff, you're gonna do better in the long run versus delivering a bunch of garbage that you're not proud of. So time management, being honest with yourself and saying no, like I said, that's number 2. That's almost like a number 1 for me. Number 3, and this is like for kids fresh up out of college, filmmakers, content creators, or I've even met some people that have been in the game for a long time working as freelancers. Being able to take constructive criticism is a must if you want to succeed in the game of creating content. Your initial ideas, your creative ideas are not always gonna be what the final product deliverable is gonna be. It's just not gonna happen. They're paying you to deliver something for their brand. It's their brand, they have an idea of what it is. Every client's not gonna have good ideas, right? Most clients' initial ideas are not the best, which is why they're reaching out to us as a production house or to a content creator. As soon as you say something to them that's not like, that goes against their initial creative ideas, they take it personally, they get hurt, they cop an attitude, they start being passive aggressive, and that's a good way to lose a lot of business. That's a good way to get a bad name in the game. One of the primary reasons people continue to come back to INDIRAP, one of the primary reasons that my editors, Elizabeth, Chris, myself, the reason people continue to work with us as editors is because we listen to them and we invite constructive criticism with open arms. Because at the end of the day, we understand that it's their content. In taking constructive criticism, if you're a really good listener, it can also make you a better content creator. Again, like I said earlier, like having emotional intelligence allows you to switch your style up for what people really need. If you're working with a medical client that you're doing some training content for, say, people that are learning Botox, facial fillers, whatever that is, working with that client versus working with a data security client is 2 totally different worlds. You are learning as you go along. I've edited so many projects, I've been in creative meetings with so many clients, I've shot so many productions that I understand so much about different industries because I've shut the fuck up and listened to these people. We invite constructive criticism. It allows us to get the project to the finish line quicker than anyone else in the industry. And look, you're always gonna have nightmare clients. If you're in the service business, that's what it is. It's not going nowhere. But 90 to 99% of the time, taking constructive criticism, putting your ego to the side, taking the L, and just getting the project done, you're gonna be a happier person in life, you're gonna be less stressed, and B, give the client what they want. Guess what? They're gonna come back and want 10 times the amount of content if you give them a great experience and keep them happy. A lot of people out here, production houses, marketing agencies, the reason that they don't get repeat clients because they're a fucking nightmare to work with. They're assholes, they have egos. It's called the marketing ego. There's a difference between confidence and having a fucked up ego. The true definition of confidence is understanding where you stand, when you're right, and also when you're wrong and when you need to listen. Number 4 for me at least is having a sense of style and aesthetic. I used to say years ago with INDIRAP, we are the fine line between cool and corporate. The fine line between cool and corporate is understanding that the business side of a brand, understanding what their products or service is, but being able to translate it to speak to a new audience in the style or the fashion or the aesthetic that they want to see it to absorb it. Let's talk about like a software company, right? Let's talk about an ad campaign for that same software. You might put together paid ads and commercials and things like that, and I'm sure you've seen this. You might see one commercial that's targeted towards a certain demographic that plays on a certain social media platform at a certain time or a certain day of the week. And if you are a younger demographic, you might see that same message with different actors, different talent, different music, different vibes and things like that. That again is gonna attract that different target demographic. And that's what I mean by understanding the style and aesthetic behind your video content. My background is in sales and finance. That's what I was doing before in real estate. That's what I was doing before I started INDIRAP. I learned a lot about people by just working with different clients at very close range, right? From having initial sales calls with them, to putting together creative for them, to being on set with them for days on end and listening to the CEO, the CMO for a tech business. Then I might jump out, I might run to the middle of the desert for a credit card processing company and talk to some dude in a biohazard suit talking about the process of creating credit cards, being on site and listening and soaking up game, having my mind blown at the same time and seeing how intelligent and smart these people are, but also seeing their insecurities and what makes them tick and what they want to show and what they don't want to show. And then you take that same knowledge as an editor, and over time you really get a really good understanding of humanity. You get a really good understanding of what people like, their insecurities. Oh, get me from this side, don't get me from this side. The more you soak up game from just interactions and seeing how people collaborate, and it will make you an amazing editor just because you have a bigger knowledge pool to pull from. Last thing I'm gonna mention, music is a foundation. The first thing you're probably gonna notice next to the first soundbite in the edit is the music. Is it carrying you further into the edit? Is it building? Or is it just some repetitive shit that's on repeat for 3 minutes? Picking out music, making sure that it is gonna carry. Looking at the waveform, right? This is when the music builds. This is when it comes out to where I might drop a very important soundbite that I want to get their ear because the beat dropped. And then after that soundbite, the shit hits again and then it goes back up. Then I drop the aerial shot in and things like that. Just throwing some track behind some B-roll is played. And I mean, you can do that. You're gonna have a very generic edit on your hands. You're taking away from the cinematic quality of what you're delivering. So listening to music is very fucking tedious at times. I'll be honest. Like, I remember the worst time I ever had looking for music. I was looking for a track for 3 days straight. And I swear I was like, I thought I was losing. I was ready to quit. But then when it came. It was like boom, and that shit made the edit hot. You're gonna have sound. Video is not just visuals. It's the sound as well. It's AV, audio visual. Studying music, studying sounds, different types of music. You know, I listen to a lot of rap, house, and techno, but I also listen to classical jazz at night. You know what I'm saying? I might listen to some ambient music. I listen to soundtracks. I listen to cinematic shit, just so that I can understand how each one of these instruments affects the image on screen. Taking them on an acoustic journey is extremely important. Sound design, music, it's the foundation. So I'm gonna leave it at that, man. I know I just went on for a long time, but these are some of the things that has helped me out to be a better editor. And I'm always learning. I'm still learning. I'm still experimenting, trying to make my shit hotter. If you learned something, if any of the knowledge I drop affected you in any way, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Like, subscribe, check us out. If you want to holler at us one-on-one, shoot us an email, info@indirap.com. Would love to work for you in the future. Until then, I'm out. If you like what you saw, click the like button, leave a comment. If you have questions, we'd love to answer them in future videos. We're putting out videos every week to keep you up to speed with the latest in content marketing, lead generation, video production, you name it. Until next time, I'm out.